Welcome back, Holotable Heroes, to another Galaxy of Heroes video. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the Sector 5 feats for Conquest. The Conquest to get Admiral Trench. That is right, the Arachnid shall be yours. If you haven't already caught up on my Sector 1, 2, 3, and 4 videos, please make sure you check those out. If you're having difficulties with any of those feats, I am here to help. Let's break down this sector. The sector feats then, ladies and gentlemen, are: we need to kill 50 units with smugglers, we need to inflict Purge 300 times, we need to evade at least 100 attacks in battles that you won, that is pivotal, and we then need to fracture 40 times. The joy of this is it looks like these feats are hard, but in actuality it's probably one of the easiest sectors in this conquest. First and foremost, key teams to look out for, and there's only one as far as I'm concerned. Try to find yourself a node with Mon Mothma Rebels because it makes some of these feats an absolute doddle to get done. Trust me on this one, you'll want to find one of these guys. Again, if we're looking at Datadisks, very important that we've got Zealous Ambition, very important that we've got Voluntary Vanguard. Voluntary Vanguard is absolutely massively important here. Make sure you've got it. We're going to have to do a little bit of mod shuffling in order to get some of these feats done, but it should be pretty easy and pretty straightforward once we have the right setup. Let us begin with the first feat. We're looking to get Smuggler's Kills, and you can do this throughout the entire sector. I like to use Dash Lead with Han, Chewie, Cat, and Bam. Cat is just there to pass the offense to Dash, but Dash with Zealous Ambition, well, kinda does stuff. Yeah. It's really good if you have got an Imperial Trooper node for this, because that is always going to be 8 kills. Everybody here, apart from Bam, no, even Bam. Everybody here is a smuggler apart from Cat. Easy kills. That's one team that you can use, but I've got loads more. Let's go through. If you've reached the end of the sector, you can always use a full CLS team against the bonus node to earn yourself some additional rewards. Now, the CLS, obviously, and Chewpio and C-3PO are not smugglers, but Han and Chewie are, and they do deal a significant amount of offense. I don't recommend this team as the best thing to use, but if you are progressing through Sector 5 and you just happen to have some spare stamina available on CLS Rebels, then you may as well use this team here just to get a couple of your kills. I still have one team that we're going to show next that is really kind of the ideal setup to use, but these are just some teams that you can use as you go through. The next team that we're going to be showing actually gets us multiple feats at once, which is why I have a preference for it. It also does happen to use the Mon Mothma node. So, I'm just saying this is a team that you can use at the end. Get yourself some additional data cache currency. Awesome. This next team is the big one. This one I find to be phenomenal. So, key things to note here. You need to have Hermit Yoda as your healthiest character. So I've swapped out his modding here to give him all protection primaries just to bump up that defensive value. The reason for that is we want Voluntary Vanguard to land on Hermit Yoda. Hermit Yoda, for those of you that don't know, will always have 100% evasion whilst he is stealthed. He also starts in stealth, and there's a bit of a funny interaction between Voluntary Vanguard and Hermit Yoda's ability to stealth at the start. Essentially, he will be marked at the start, so enemies will be forced to target him, but he also has 100% evasion, so they can't actually hit him unless their attack is completely unevadable. This gives us a really interesting way of building up loads of dodges, and I literally mean 100 dodges in one battle, without having to go ahead and waste. However, we are also throwing in Dash Rendar in here. I'm taking in Barriss as a leadership because she passes additional health, but also whenever we get crit, we've got that additional survivability from Barriss, which can come into play at a later date. Wat Tambor is there to place some additional techs, Armorer is there to place Beskar armor, although she's not entirely necessary, and Dash is our smuggler, so we can actually double up on getting Smuggler Kills here. Now you are looking for a Mon Mothma node. Let's get into it. And this is the battle. You also want to try and put as little speed as possible on Hermit Yoda. I placed the recovery tech on him just to give him that additional amount there. And look at all these dodges. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Every single time the enemy is taking a turn, essentially we're getting 5 dodges, which means the enemy only needs to take 20 turns in order to satisfy this. Actually, when they get the additional guy, we're probably getting even more dodges yet again. I then go ahead and put the tank tech on our armorer, and then you want to hold off placing the weapons tech. Once you place the weapons tech on Dash, Anybody he kills will stay permanently dead. What we can do here is we can actually just farm killing Xaereth Rebel Pathfinder with our dash so that he can get multiple kills, as you can see. Thanks to Zealous Ambition, Dash is doing ridiculous amounts of damage. Hermit Yoda over here is dodging 5 times plus every single time they take a turn. He now has triple stacks of Beskar armor on him so they can't crit him. He also recovers protection. It's just fabulous. He won't counterattack, unfortunately, because they can't against Mon Mothma. But look at all these dodges. Look at them. We only need to get 100 dodges. Eventually they do chew through. However, we only need to get 100 dodges. And I guarantee you, taking in this setup, you will hit that. You will absolutely hit that. Once he gets round to another Master's Training, he'll go back into stealth, and then he'll have 100% evasion, and he will still be marked as well. So yeah, the idea is to just make sure that whenever you kill Xaereth Rebel Pathfinder, you try to do it with dash to try and stack up on those smuggler kills. You could probably replace Armorer with another smuggler, maybe someone like Han, maybe someone like Chewie, so that you can gain additional kills there, make it a little bit easier. But ultimately, the point is you want to make sure that you do not kill anybody permanently. Dash over there doing 300,000 on a basic is rather tasty. Now, I don't know how many kills roughly that you could get with this team, but you can actually drag this out for the full 5 minutes, which is exactly what I do in this battle here. We just go ahead and we farm. I'll try and get round to showing you yet another instance of Hermit Yoda using his Master's Training, but as you can see, he's recovering fine whenever they're critting him, if they can. Whenever they're causing a crit, then people are going to be recovering, but he, thanks to that weapons tech, thanks to dash, thanks to BAM, thanks to Armorer, is never, ever going to die. We'll get a nice heal up there for the extra defense, although that'll disappear. Here we go, another Master's Training. I like to put it on dash, really. But again, he's dodging once more. Infinite dodges, essentially. We're just going around now. I don't know why I bothered hitting the Xaereth Rebel Pathfinder there. I think it was most likely just to try and lower his health, so dash absolutely kills him in a hit. But you never know. So essentially what I'll do is I will just keep running through this until I get down to maybe the last minute, maybe last 45 seconds. Let's skip ahead. So here we are in the last minute. Hermit Yoda is still perfectly fine. He's still alive, just about. He doesn't die, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. And now I place the weapons tech on dash. Dash is going to gain the bonus TM whenever the enemy takes turn, and we just do an AoE, kill most people, and then it's just a cleanup. So he's gaining multiple kills here, as well as us essentially getting all of our dodges in one hit, and we don't have to waste any stamina, or any energy on this, because you can absolutely win the battle as well. To be honest there, I probably could have killed the useless support unit to get an extra kill on smugglers. Try this one out, guys. Highly recommended. Next up, we are looking at the Purge feat. Now, this is currently broken. I expect this to be fixed. In its current format, Purge is actually applying whenever it gets hit on you. So if we go up against the final boss node of this sector, every single time they afflict Purge on you, it's counting towards your feat progression. I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, the next time we come round into Conquest after this one is finished, this bug will have been fixed. Get it in while you still can. I'm using a Mon Mothma team here because there is so much cleanses, and I can actually win this battle with this team. It just drags it out for essentially the full 10 minutes. I'm taking in Mon Mothma with Kyle Katarn, Bistan, K2, and Biggs. You could probably replace Biggs with anybody really, and Bistan if you have your own units, maybe Xaereth Rebel Pathfinder, maybe Hoth Rebel Scout or someone like that. But essentially what we're looking to do is to just wait and build up all your stacks. You could even go in with a GG team, throw in Wat Tambor for the tank tech. Wat Tambor can also cleanse other allies as well and stuff like that, so you can keep resetting that purge. There is plenty of cleanses though in this Mon Mothma team, I feel, and it will 100% get you all of the purges you need in probably 2 battles maximum. It's very easy to do, and even if you lose your K2SO like I just did, I'm pretty confident that you'll be able to get him revived again. The only thing is, I would actually recommend focusing down on Third Sister at the start, not because you need to kill her, but more because it drags out the battle. Grand Inquisitor is very easy to kill here. If we just put the focus on him, you could chew through him very, very quickly. But Third Sister is actually incredibly tanky. And the more Inquisitors that are alive on the enemy team, the more opportunities they have to go ahead and put that purge on you. Essentially, you need to have Purge, then you need to cleanse it, because if you are at 6 stacks of Purge, any additional Purges there won't count towards the feat, so you need to be removing it. Alternatively, you could go in this node and take in your own Inquisitors, and you could probably double up on the Purges and probably get it done in just one battle. If you do have Inquisitors and you don't want to farm this, or you're thinking about future Conquest sectors or future Conquest iterations where they fixed this bug, then I'd recommend an EP lead Mara Jade setup with, well, not necessarily Mara Jade, an EP lead with Inquisitors to try and TM roll against a team like Phoenix, for example. Phoenix will have a lot of longevity, have a lot of survivability, so you'd be able to constantly apply Purges to them whilst they don't actually die. Alrighty, I'm going to skip ahead so that we can see that this battle actually drags out for the full timer, but you should be able to farm this node right now in order to get your Purge feats done. As you can see, we've got, 4 minutes left, and we are still battling. Just about killed the 8th brother. You can definitely get through it, and it will give you a boatload, at least 150 Purges. Try it out. I like it, no, love it when we have easily cheesable feats. If you like it too, maybe like this video and consider subscribing to me. It would really help push my channel wider, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Next up, we are going to be tackling the Fracture feat. Now, I get 27 fractures in this one setup. You go up against the mini-boss node, and I take in Thrawn as a leadership, Malak as a tank with the Voluntary Vanguard, Traya in order to decrease Thrawn's cooldowns, First Order Officer to pass turns back to Thrawn, and Wat Tambor for additional survivability. At the start of the game, you go ahead and place the weapons tech on Thrawn and immediately try to fracture Darth Revan. Once you've killed Darth Revan, then you need to stall out the game. It is incredibly important that if you are running Zealous Ambition Datadisk setup here, that you remove them. Take off those Zealous Ambitions, put in things like anything to generate additional TM, like Ruthless Speed? I can't remember what it's called. Ruthless Swiftness. I got a brain. Go ahead and put that on so that you can continually gain TM. Essentially, you are able to generate so much TM from all the debuffs going around, all the enemy turns that they're taking, that Thrawn will be able to cycle through fractures incredibly quickly. Using his strategic advantage, or whatever it is, tactical thing, his leadership buff will give him faster turns because he'll gain 50% turn meter when you use it, and then you can pass turns over either to Traya to place Isolate, who you should target on Malgus, and decrease Thrawn's cooldowns, or pass it to First Order Officer. My First Order Officer is gear 8, and I think he's only level 80. However, his first special will grant 100% TM to an ally. Pass that back over to Thrawn, cycle through his turns as quickly as possible. Once you've killed Darth Revan, the only person you should target really is getting the Isolate and the Fracture on Darth Malgus to make sure that he can't continually go. I like to actually leave Bastila Shan alive. She is passing more debuffs and will not be able to really or very frequently get fear off on the likes of Thrawn. And if she's another player, another person taking turn, the debuffs are going to be giving you additional TM from her fear. Not only that, but she's also giving you TM through the weapons tech, which is giving you 15% TM every time an enemy takes a turn. So I like to leave her alive. Once you've isolated and fractured Malgus, just start tapping away at Sith Marauder. If you've got Ruthless Swiftness, when you take him below 100% health, he will then trigger some additional TM on your team, obviously passing you more TM, but also he is able to have additional health steal. When he does his attacks, he'll be able to recover up to 100%, so you'll be able to trigger that once again. You can drag this out for as long as you like, ladies and gentlemen. You can drag this out forever. And like I said, I got 27 fractures in this. We only need 50 in order to satisfy the feat requirements. So in 2 battles, you'll be able to get this done with this particular approach. It doesn't take a whole lot of modding. Mod your Thrawn to be fast, I guess, is the only thing that you need to do, and maybe mod your Malak to have boatloads of protection so that he definitely stays alive. That Marauder can stack up a significant amount of damage over time. And that's about it, really. I'll skip ahead to the end of this video to see just how long we take in this 10-minute battle. As you can see, we are down now to the last 30 seconds and everybody is still alive. So just keep on fracturing that Malgus, keep on tapping away at the enemies and try to spread that damage so that you never actually kill anybody. So long as everybody survives a long time, then you'll be absolutely fine and you'll get boatloads of fractures done. You can thank me later. It's just beautiful to do. I love it. Taking a look at the feats that we need to do on the mini-boss node, we have to win with Darth Revan surviving, and then we have to win without using any Jedi, Sith, or unaligned Force users. Once again, I'm not going to touch on the Hokey Religions one. You should be able to get this sort of stuff done with Dash Rendar and Zealous Ambitions without any real trouble. Failing that, things like GG tend to work out very well as well. Winning with Darth Revan though, there's a very, very easy team and we can still work on our fractures with it. Let's break it down. To have Darth Revan survive against the mini-boss node, I literally take in the exact same fracture team, but I replace First Order Officer with Darth Revan. We already know that this team is incredibly survivable. The benefit of this is we are able to get a bunch of fractures once again. Now, in this instance, I've reapplied my Zealous Ambition Datadisks because I actually want to win. But you can leave them off and probably slowly kill the team anyway. I just find it far more reliable and less of a waste of your time to actually just go through and do this as quickly as possible. Now, you can drag it out, like I said, to try and farm up a bunch of fractures, and you will still get a bunch of those done. With Darth Revan and Malak in this team, the enemy isn't really going to do anything because they don't have enough in the way of AoE damage once you've gotten rid of Darth Revan. After that, it's just a case of cleanup on aisle 6. So if you want to farm some more fractures, just focus most of your damage on Malgus. If you want to just get through immediately, just focus down the side adds and come back to Malgus at a later date. But ultimately, there is no real risk with this team. The enemy just does not have the damage to deal with you, and you have got so much control and damage output yourself that you'll be able to rip through them with relative ease. As you can see, I dragged out this battle for about 6.5 minutes. It's just down to Sith Assassin now, and we probably got 10, 15 plus fractures in this one battle alone. So when you go back and try to do the Hokey Religion feats, consider maybe throwing in Thrawn to try and clean up the rest of your fracture feats. No problem. For the boss node, we need to win with Darth Vader surviving and win without any Jedi, Sith or unaligned Force users. Again, we're not touching on Hokey Religions, there are plenty of teams available that you can use. However, to use Darth Vader and survive is really not so bad. Let's break it down. The boss node feat, trying to survive with Darth Vader, is very easy. I'm going in with an EP Mara Jade setup here with assistance from both Thrawn and Malak. Malak is just there to control the enemy and pass a bit of fear. It just makes this an absolute doddle. Between Mara Jade, Thrawn and Darth Vader, after that, you are able to rip through these guys incredibly quickly. Now, we're not here to try and stack up those purges, but you can also gain a bunch of the purge feat done just using this team. I like to try and just kill people as quickly as possible, however, so try to focus your damage down on the Grand Inquisitor first to get rid of him. Vader's little pool noodle there didn't really deal enough damage to the Grand Inquisitor. The benefit of having Thrawn in here is that you can actually fracture Reva. It's great, you get to work on your fracture feats as well, but you're most likely finished with them at this point. It controls her as well, so she won't be able to taunt until you are ready to deal with her. Everybody else in this team is actually so easy and flimsy to get through, so you should be able to kill them relatively quickly. It is just Reva who will stand there and tank until the end of the universe. Unfortunately, Malak is doing percentage damage effects when he does his life drain ability, and she is immune to those or takes reduced damage from those, so you won't be able to just life drain her out. You'll have to do it the long way, unfortunately. Thrawn being in here with Zealous Ambition does mean that he does significant amounts of damage, even on his basic, who was doing over 100,000 there, which is nice to see. Ultimately, they won't last too long, and you've got enough control to make sure that they don't deal any significant amount of damage to you. Beautiful. We're finally down to Reva's last life, and she is slowly but surely awaiting her inevitable doom once again. Vader still hasn't learned how to throw that saber properly, but it's okay. We got the win in the end. Nobody died. Very, very easy. And that is about going to do it for this particular sector. If you haven't already, please do go watch my previous sectors. We'll go over all of those feats and how to get them nice and easy. But if you haven't already, please do check out my 1 billion damage of hits. That's a lot of damage, guys. And I'll see you all in the next video. Like and subscribe.